Hi guys, Figure-Boi here, back with another video, and today I thought I'd just do a quick kind of reflection on the current state of the MCU. Well, on Twitter and places, you'll see a lot of people that are saying that the MCU is now becoming the MCU, with all the male heroes being replaced with, like, worse knockoff versions of the, originals. I don't know if I was grammatically correct there, but who cares? Fact of the matter is, it does feel like this is true at the minute, with a lot of the heroes like Thor being tarnished as the films progress, especially in the case of Thor: Love and Thunder, where he finally became slim again, but he was treated like a complete joke next to Mighty Thor instead of Lady Thor, which she should have been called, because what I don't quite understand is this whole new direction for Marvel is all about female empowerment, but Mighty Thor can't be called Lady Thor for whatever reason, because, apparently you got, because she's attached the mighty to, it feels like she's attached that to herself, because she needs people to know that she's strong, when really, wouldn't it have been wiser to call her Lady Thor and then have her be shown doing mighty things? Because that's almost like, me being like weak as hell, calling myself like, I don't know, like the ultimate or something, and that yet having like a power level, that's almost like not even like 75% less than 4 or whatever, or 69%, whatever sounds better. So it is this whole show and not tell, where now it's almost like we're being expected to like them solely because they're women or whatever in their hardship. Especially like with the She-Hulk thing, if you recall that big speech. I can sympathise with that in a real world context, but Marvel is not a real world context. This is where Marvel is failing, is that they're trying to make it all about, it's supposed to like a lot of popular people say they want it to reflect the world we live in today, and it's just obviously isn't working. And Kevin Feige should see that, but he's not he's just the puppet. It's the people around him that make the real decisions. He's just forced to say yes to it because he doesn't have a choice. Can you imagine it? So yeah, don't expect the MCU or MCU to get any better. Like I said, it's almost like I just gotta say, like, I don't want the MCU to be completely dominated by men. I don't want the women gone. I don't mind these characters. Like, if they're just knockoff versions of them, or like other versions of them or whatever, it's just like, okay, not very creative there. But if they're almost able to, despite sharing a similar title, like with Spider-Man or whatever, with Miles Morales and all that, as long as they're able to prove themselves as likable, unique, characters that have something different to offer than, hey, do you remember Hawkeye? He could do that. Well, she can do it better, kind of thing. You should have like different tricks up her sleeve, like stuff that Hawkeye wouldn't be able to do. But she should also have something, for example, like with Kate Bishop, she should be able to... Now, one thing that, Hawkeye can't do, she can do. But one thing that Hawkeye can do really good, she can't do, if you know what I mean. If you know what point I'm trying to make. So it's like they're almost equal in some way. Or maybe she's not as strong, but she can do certain things better than him. But that doesn't... So you don't want the female ones to be better than... Say that there was a female character that was introduced first, right? That was super strong. And then there was a male version that came out after. I'd want the first one to always be stronger because they were introduced first. Like with Robin. I wouldn't want Robin to be stronger than Batman. I'd want him to learn to become nearly as strong as Batman, but I'd never want him to be as... strong as Batman, because Batman's always got to be the GOAT, because he came first. If that makes sense. Because otherwise it just feels like, I don't want it to feel like you're disrespecting the original character by saying, yeah, that character's trash, ours is like so much better, because that seems to me to be like the attitude with a lot of them. But obviously I'm not allowed to say that, because that makes me a toxic fan. That makes me a Todd from The Boys. or whatever, which is just a joke. But, like, you know, with 4 now, it's almost like there's no... Do you know, because this whole thing has been going on for a while where it feels like they've been trying to undermine the characters or whatever. How he went from this to, oh, look, he became this guy who failed to, you know, aim for the head. I even said that in the cinema, they should have gone for the head. And then we thought we were going to get this based off the poster. When I saw the film, oh, I can't wait to see 4 like this. And nope. This isn't even film accurate. The only thing this is accurate to is the poster. It's almost like, even I would kind of, my heart sank. I remember watching the film hoping that he'd shed the weight somehow and transform into this. And I don't even know if he ever wore this suit. Because he just kind of just went into hiding and becoming a slob playing Fortnite. So yeah, well, at least, you know, I don't want to come across as me with Pokemon. So yes, now 4 is finally acting like me. Right, so yeah, but that's not what we really want to see. It's almost like okay, and talking about the whole thing, you know, it's just like, oh well, because another thing I was just thinking, oh, like, you know, with the whole, all the male heroes being macho and all that and stuff, like, sometimes it feels like there's a lot of hypocrisy where it's almost like, well, the heroes have got to look, you know, fit in more ways than one, solely because, you know, got to make it believable. Like, you honestly tell me Foreign, like, as a fat blob, would not be able to take on some of the villains that he's took on in the films because he'd be too slow, for one thing, and he can't be completely reliant on his hammer and whatnot. How many? I wonder if I've said whatnot in this video. I know I've said this in some of the other versions of this video that I've attempted to record, but anyway, back to the point. So it's like with the female heroes, they gotta look beautiful. And they've got to look, you know, they've got to be of a certain physique. Because they've got to look admirable, haven't they? In the same way that the male hero's got to look admirable with their abs and whatnot. You know, you can't say, it's almost like, you know, are you saying, can these people confidently say that they weren't, you know, glad to see, you know, 4 with his top off in the 4th one? I know a lot of people say, like, what if it was the other way around? Then I would be called out for it. You know, it's almost like, you know, it feels like one rule for one, rule for the other. Because it feels like, you know, sometimes us men don't like hearing about the other macho men. Because it's like, oh, do women expect us to be like that? In the same way you see, like, a man might talk about a glamour model around a less attractive woman. But like, oh, do they expect us to be like that? It feels like it's kind of the same thing, really, in some way. They'll try and say that it isn't, if they're, like, super, like, mega odd. But it's, in a way, it is the same thing. And you just try to, and it's almost like we try to argue it. It just feels like you're pulling strings out of a hat. Like, even I can do that sometimes. But at the same time, you think it's just like a certain equivalent, you know, in these situations. So it just gets so frustrating. And one thing you got to, like, realise is that, you know, what point was I going to make? Oh, yeah, I remember now. Because these days, it feels like the Marvel writers feel like, you know, seem to forget that a lot of women were already a fan of these characters as well. Like, it wasn't just men that liked these characters. So it's like they'd imagine if they've been actually, well, the thing is, these characters, regardless of what they look like, or what bracket they may be placed under, are much better written characters than the ones in Phase 4, much more likeable, have gone through more kind of, you know, emotional journeys, rather than bloody, you know, She-Hulk trying to bring in real world stuff. It doesn't really fit in with this. You know, like, these aliens aren't real. They wouldn't, like, all of, like, Bruce Banner's struggles are not real or whatnot, because aliens don't exist in real life, but they exist in this, well, they might do. And if they're watching my video, hello from planet Earth. If you're a Gamora-like alien, feel free to comment if the comments aren't disabled. Love to get some Star Trek green ladies here. I know they're not the same species. Anyway, I think I got distracted there. This doesn't help your argument, you toxic man. Right, so carrying on. yeah, it's almost just like I said. I might have said before that with these Marvel films, I've tried to remain optimistic. But after She-Hulk and whatnot, I know it's getting worse. Because I like Yelena, I like Kate Bishop, not just because I found them attractive, because I actually thought they weren't actually that bad. It was just the show they were in and just the, you know, the plot and whatnot, really, that was the issue. I don't always want to sound like there's other guys that are just saying, this destroying the MCU, this is bad, this is toxic, this is awful, this is this and this and this and this is... I don't think they necessarily use the word toxic. But, you know, this is trash or whatnot, you know, haha, I said whatnot again. You know, it's almost like I want to give it a chance. I want to give them a chance if it means that they're not destroying everything in their path, like undermining the others in the process. You know, it's almost like, you know, imagine if the tables like were turned and these new heroes had actually come out first and you'd have grown really attached to them. Then I came around and said, you should stop caring about them. I don't understand why you have such an attachment to them when you can just, you know, forget about them. You should grow out of them. You should accept these new characters. These are better. These are outdated. You should get with the times. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Like, how would that make you feel? Like, if it was the other way around and we, you know, we were the ones calling you the toxic ones. You know, can you imagine getting so... You could say, well, here's me getting an obsession about Marvel, and here's all these people also getting an obsession about Marvel. So it's like, why do you care? You ask me, you know, why do you care so much about these characters? And I can turn around and say, why do you care so much about these characters as well? And it's always about the same thing. It's all about, you know, representation, making sure you see yourself on screen and whatnot. It's almost like, I don't think any of the characters really look like me. Like, they don't have my exact, they don't have my exact facial structure. They don't have my exact body structure or whatever. None of them, like, physically 100%, resemble me, even if they're the same race as me. I will never be truly satisfied until he looks like an exact clone of me. Just sounds flipping ridiculous, doesn't it? It's almost like, what happened to it being about, people's, personalities, judging people by that rather than, what they look like. Because clearly, it's never really going to go away. This is how people are going to continue to talk and behave. So, there you go. I don't know. I've probably gone on a tangent there, but at least we got a video out. So, hopefully I've got some solid points in there. But, yeah, I'm back, and hopefully I'll have some more videos out soon. I had a bit of a rant there, maybe. Maybe I should write a script. But, yeah, probably be deemed too unnatural. Anyway, cheers, and feel free to engage. Grateful for anyone that watches my videos. Yeah. Bye for now. See you later.